Right here sitting in this seat, there's a sweet young mom. She's got 2 kids. Man, she loves her family, she loves her kids, and she's got some great friends. The reality is this sweet young mom, she's got a best friend that she loves, but she kind of loves and she kind of hates. And by you mean love and hate, she loves her, but she's also jealous of her because it seems like her kids behave a little better than, her friends' kids behave better than her kids. Life seems to come a little bit easier to her. She seems to have a little bit more romance in her marriage. And although she doesn't say it to her face, sometimes when she's around her girlfriends, she'll throw her best friend under the bus because it makes her feel a little bit better about herself. Does she need grace? Let me tell you about the guy sitting next to her. The guy sitting next to her is her husband, right? And he's a good dude. He's got a family. He loves them. He's really good at what he does at his profession. He's young and he's kind of climbing the corporate ladder. He's climbing where he's at. He's actually getting paid pretty good for his age. And he's not against work. In fact, that's where he gets affirmed. Actually, work comes easy to him. He's talented. He's gifted. Truthfully, he likes working. He likes succeeding. He likes money. He knows it deep down. He's kind of driven by that. He's all for his family, but the crazy thing is he finds more affirmation and acceptance at his work, and so he seems to tune into his work really hard and sometimes neglect his family. He knows that, but it's just hard to stop. Does this guy need grace? Let me tell you about this lady who's sitting right here. This lady who's sitting right here, she's single. In a season of her life, she never planned on being single. And she's been hurt, and she's angry, and she's got some bitterness toward her ex because of the things he said and the things he did. And the truth of the matter is she puts on a good face on a Sunday or a Thursday. She puts on a good face, but when she goes home, she self-medicates at night. And she's making choices in relationships now that brings her shame, and she's hurt. Does she need grace? Yeah. And let me tell you about this guy right here. He's 20 and he's single, and he's been around church his whole life. He knows stories of faith. Shoot, he grew up in a Christian school. He knows all about David and Goliath, and he knows about Jesus, and he's all for God and country. But the reality is he's 20, he's single, and he loves to drink. He loves to party on the weekend. He drinks first. He drinks heavy. He drinks last. He doesn't remember half of what happens on the weekends, but he loves to drink, and he loves to party. And the reality is he's free. He's not hurting anybody. You know, he knows the Lord. At least that's what he says. You know what I mean? He knows the story. But boy, he loves his freedom. Does this guy need grace? Let me tell you about this person right here. This guy right here, he's been in the church for a long time. And by the church for a long time, he's a pillar in the church. In fact, when you think about who's a leader at this church, this guy right here is a leader at this church. He's made the right decisions, right? This guy right here is a leader in the community. And the reality is he won't tell you this. He won't say it aloud. But when he looks up and down at the row, you know, he thinks, thank God I'm not like these people. Does this guy need grace? Now, you know what this guy also needs? He needs the truth that he's self-righteous. He's self-righteous and needs Jesus like every person else sitting at this row. And this guy right here who's 20, he needs the truth that what he calls freedom is actually bondage. And he thinks he's living his life, and actually he's wasting his life, and he needs to hear that truth too. And you know what this person right here needs to know? Her unforgiveness toward her ex isn't hurting her ex, it's ruining her life. And she needs to be set free. She needs to hear that truth, right? And you know what this guy needs to hear? He thinks he's successful because he's got a little bit of money at a young age, but he's actually forsaken the thing that his life matters most, his family. And he needs to hear the truth that his life's not about money. His life's about the people God's called him to. And you know what this girl right here, she needs to hear? She needs to hear as long as she compares herself to others, she's always going to end up on the short end because no matter what, she is comparing herself to others, and she needs to know she is loved by God, and that's the truth. Everybody needs grace and everybody needs truth. Church, do you see it? That is why, listen to me, that is why Jesus, here's what it said, he came full of what? Grace and truth in equal proportion. What does that mean? The ingredients for change are grace and truth. What does that mean? You are fully known, good, bad, and ugly, and yet you are fully loved.